morning, and we should get started. So, good afternoon. Welcome everyone for joining today. Just again, a quick check of your cell phones. Make sure that they're turned off. And so let's go ahead and get started. This is March 12th, 2024, Hardin County Fiscal Court regular voting meeting. And let's begin and call this meeting to order. And let's start with a roll call.
Squire Clem. Here. Squire Hicks.
Here.
Squire Muse.
Here.
Squire Pennington.
Here.
Squire Saltzman. Here. Squire Thompson.
Here.
Squire Whitehead.
Here.
Squire Yates. Here. Judge Tall.
Here. Next, we'll have our invocation by Magistrate Clem and Pledge of Allegiance by Magistrate Thompson.
Please pray with me. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us, and Father, the many blessings that you've bestowed upon all of us and this community and our individual families, Father. We just thank you so much for all of those blessings. And Father, we lift up those that are out there, our first responders and our military that's across the world, Father. We just lift them up, lift their families up, Father, be with them and protect and guide them, Father. Father, we just ask your blessings on this community, on our state, on our nation, Father, and Father, on the world. Father, we just ask that people stop and think about their actions and think about the words, and Father, direct their energy, and Father, direct their to the light, Father. Just go toward the light, Father. The positive things in our life, Father. We just ask that you be with us through today's meeting, Father. Just lead, guide, and direct us in the things that we say and do, Father. We ask all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks again for joining today. Just a quick review of the agenda. We'll have the approval of the last meeting minutes. We have some informational items today that we'll go through with the Hardin County Election Ambassador Award, and then our Hardin County Conservation District will have a presentation of their budget and annual plan of work. Next, we'll have the regular department and office report presentations. Of course, there's some written reports that are available also. We have some time for citizens' concerns or comments, as usual, and then we have one ordinance that will have our second reading, and then our usual consent agenda. I will note that I have one change from that consent agenda. We will pull out Resolution 2024-048 regarding Civic Plus Statement of Work. And we're going to pull that out and vote on that separately, and I'll explain that whenever we get to it. So we'll do that, and then we'll move on into the consent agenda as the rest of it is noted, and then have our general comments at the end. So fairly typical agenda today. Just one item I just wanted to note, just for your information, that there's a lot of stuff going on in Frankfort, as many of you are aware. And one of the things that I got a note about road discretionary dollars for a request from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And so they were just wanting to make sure that we had all of our ducks in a row there, that we sent them all of our needs, our safety, kind of emergency, unsafe road, bridge conditions. And so we've reviewed that, and we increased that request significantly. Just to let you know that we're doing that. We submitted what ended up being about a $2.7 million request for the replacement of 3 bridges and also parts of 3 different roads that desperately need to be fixed and such. So anyway, I'm hopeful, that we'll get all of that, but realistically, I don't know if that's going to happen. But we did want to at least not leave anything out there that without at least asking for it. And I know that the people making these decisions, they know the needs of Hardin County, and so I'm hopeful that with that we'll be able to get a big chunk of this money, if not all of it. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what was going on kind of in the background, and lots of things like that happening these days. So with that, I will move on to our next item of business, and that is to approve the Hardin County Fiscal Court February 27th, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Squire Clem,
Yes.
Squire Hicks,
Yes.
Squire Muse,
Yes.
Squire Pennington,
Yes.
Squire Saltzman,
Yes.
Squire Thompson,
Yes.
Squire Whitehead,
Yes.
Squire Yates,
Yes.
Judge Saul.
Yes, motion passes. All right, so let's move on to our informational items. First up is Hardin County Election Ambassador Award to Mr. Robert Lawson Barger, and I believe that would be you taking care
I'm
of it.
going to invite Mr. Rowland up to the microphone to actually, he was the one that nominated Mr. Barger, and so I'd like him to say a few brief words.
Absolutely. And thank you, Judge Tall and Clerk Smith and all the magistrates. Earlier this year, J.T. Alton Middle School was able to supply our students with the most realistic election experience that the youth of Hardin County has probably experienced in the last 20 years, perhaps even in its history. During our student council elections, every single aspect of Kentucky election procedure was addressed in one way or another. From candidate filing, to poll worker oaths of office, to real vote tabulation machines, and even the paper ballots that their parents will use in May and November. Every single aspect of Kentucky election procedures was addressed at JTA. The 693 students at JTA are lucky, yes. But as it was reminded to me not so long ago, it's important that we recognize the efforts of the adults in their lives that make these opportunities a reality. And none of this would be possible without the hard work and dedication of student council sponsor, Mr. Lawson Barger. Since March of 2023, Mr. Barger has lobbied Clerk Smith and the county clerk's office to bring his vision into reality. 7 months of communication, organization, and coordination with 3 county level and 2 state level departments and agencies, because our candidates, once they won, were certified in real time by the Secretary of State. All of us here today have a vested interest in imparting to the coming generations of American voters the importance of taking seriously their civic duty of going to the polls. And of all of us here today, I cannot think of anyone who has done more in that pursuit, that endeavor, than Mr. Barger. And it is with that very sentiment that I now nominate him to the county clerk, Mr. Brian Smith, for appointment to be a Hardin County Election Ambassador.
Mr. Barger, will you come forward? I think we'll do a group, if the members of Fiscal Court want to join us, we'll do a group picture of Mr. Barger.
So in grateful recognition to your continuing service and support to Hardin County voters, let it be known that Robert Barger is hereby given the honorary title of Hardin County Election Ambassador. Now there's one more thing that's not on the agenda, and I hope you will forgive me. Mr. Rowland, can you please come up and join us? Because I know that Mr. Barger didn't work alone in this. You deserve a recognition just as much. teachers like you in middle school. I really do. I'm thankful for you all. Thanks.
I appreciate Fiscal Court indulging the clerk's office and allowing us to add that to today's agenda. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Next is our Hardin County Conservation District, Vincent Thompson, to make a presentation of budget and annual plan of work.
Hello, Judge,
Hello.
Squires, Madam Attorney, and Mr. Clerk. Appreciate y'all having us here today. Every time I see one of the magistrates, I always refer to them as Squire now because of Mr. Smith's constant referral is that, and I just like that. It makes it very easy for me, so I appreciate that. So we have brought the plan of work and fiscal year budget before the magistrates, judge. If y'all take a look at, we worked in pretty timely fashion to get this one accomplished. I know in years past I've sat in some long meetings to get this accomplished. So I want to let you know that I was pretty happy with the speed with which we got this one done. So, and then the plan of work, we didn't do much in the way of changes, just some editing of our committee members. You'll find those on the back. Let's see here. So it's page 5. So if you got that in your notes, those committee members are the ones that are in charge of some of our more important duties. So I'll entertain any questions by the members or any comments.
I appreciate your continued excellent work. Thank you.
Appreciate that, sir.
We're good.
Thank you.
Anything else you need from me?
No, I've been privileged to attend a few of the board meetings and just appreciate your all's professionalism and the things that you offer the county. At some point, we may want to have more of a report or something that kind of help even more people in the county understand of what all you guys do.
Sure.
And I think obviously this annual plan of work is a good document to look at so that it's out there available for anybody to see on our website. So feel free to go out there and look at it and just see what all is happening with with this conservation district. It's pretty impressive. I know I've used it before and was very helpful, very good information for anyone that has any questions along those lines. So I do appreciate what you do and what the board does and everybody that works there. They do a great job.
Appreciate it. I know you were able to attend the annual banquet this year, and years past, several others have been able to come. But I felt like our presentation we had by Ms. Kimberly Bartley from Division of Conservation just really did a good job of summarizing what conservation districts do, their impact on the state, and I think that would be another great avenue for people to have available to them to explore and see how we impact the communities.
Yeah, that'd be great. As a matter of fact, if you want to provide that to me, we might be able to get that out on the Facebook or webpage to kind of help people to understand it just a little bit more. I agree with you. That was a good presentation.
Yep. Sounds good.
To the judge's point, maybe some appears we take you for granted, not asking any questions, but we know what you do and we appreciate your budget every year. But if you'll go and look at your annual plan of work, I think the folks will realize what you do.
Oh, yes.
Because that's quite comprehensive.
So I was telling some of the magistrates, I was selected for a leadership group that was, it's a national level. I'll be going to Washington, D.C. next Tuesday to meet with as many representatives as possible. But one of the key points in that leadership group was talking about how conservation districts across the U.S. and U.S. territories are some of the best kept secrets. Mm-hmm. And the people in that group are tired of that being a mantle of pride, because the impact that we have is felt far and wide. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Also,
congratulations on that, by the way.
Also, I'd like to commend you on your education, information, your outreach to the youth and what you're doing with that. I think that's amazing, and that's where it starts.
Exactly.
And it's so crucial to what you do, just to educate the young folks about that. So, great job.
We had 54 recipients for our art and writing contest, and then we had 10 recipients for 5 high school and 5 college scholarships. So, like you said, that's where the impact starts. So,
Absolutely.
one point that we've been talking about with the leadership group is that we should all be looking for our replacements. And a lot of times that slips under the cracks with all the bombardment of information and dealings that we have to take care of. So, anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say, I noticed that you brought the glue that holds it all together back there.
That's the glue right there.
Exactly. So did you want to introduce her?
This is Marcia Butterworth. She's our district coordinator.
Yeah. Any other comments? All right, thank you very much. I appreciate
and
your
I also
visit.
wanted to say, Mr. Barger, if you offer any adult consultation on the election process and all that it pertains to, I think there's probably many in the community that would probably be happy to take you up on that, myself included. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our reports and presentations. We'll start with planning. Adam King.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, I've got the January and February reports from Planning and Development. If our batteries are dead, BK.
I just put a brand new one in it. Is it on?
It's on the side.
I can.
You can take care of me? All right, first up, the zone change. This was Hardin County Board of Education. This is for the new West Hardin Middle School. So as you'll notice there on the top left, we kind of had a hodgepodge of zoning here. The existing Cecilia Valley was zoned R1. Then we had a piece of a farm that was zoned R2. And then we had a little strip where they're going to build a new access road that was zoned C1. So we rezoned all that to get the zoning consistent. This will be a campus setting with both Cecilia Valley Elementary School as well as the proposed West Hardin Middle School and new athletic fields. This was a zone change request from T.L. Wise, just south of here down Ring Road. So he requested to rezone 14.5 acres there from R1 urban residential to C2 general commercial. No project proposed at this time, but this site, couple of properties there actually in the county surrounded by city limits. This would be right across the street from the E-Town Animal Hospital. This was a request from the Reeser family. We're at the corner of Patriot Parkway and Joe Prather, and they rezoned 3 one-acre lots from the industrial holding zone to a convenience commercial C1 zone. The purpose of this request was to allow for billboards. So you'll notice there just a little bit of backstory and information. Our zoning regulations have a 2,000-foot spacing requirements on billboards. So that's why those lots are separated the distances they are. Transportation Cabinet also had to approve of this because both of those are state highways. This property there had been zoned industrial holding since '95, and the bulk of the farm still is. It received that zoning because we anticipated the Radcliffe Industrial Park would expand that way, but the city of Radcliffe is actually seeing a lot of residential development, single-family homes and multifamily homes right here at this intersection, so they weren't in opposition to the request to commercial. Lastly, on zone changes, this is just north of the Sonora interchange, so we're right there near the corner of 84 and 31W. If you haven't been down there lately, quite a bit of activity, new Family Dollar, a Dollar Tree, several things going on the LaRue County side of Dixie, but this was a request from the Detweilers to rezone 13 acres there from the R2 zone to the C2 zone. Again, no project proposed at this time. Looking at our various land use applications for January and February, 17 subdivision plats, 2 zone changes, 2 conditional use permits, 3 variances, and 3 development plans. And then looking at plats and lots. So total plats so far recorded, we're at 16 for the year. In 2023 at this time we were at 12. And then looking at the new number of lots created on those plats, 20 new lots so far, and that exceeds the 2023 amount of 11. Permits, 70 building permits, 131 electrical permits. What I'm not thrilled about here is we've already done 18 stop work orders for the year. So just educational, anyone out there in TV land, radio land, you need a building permit even if you're out in the county. Single family dwellings. So 12 new homes for the year. That exceeds where we were at in 2023 with 8 new homes. Also happy to report that so far in March, as of me walking up the stairs, we've already done 7 new homes. So good weather, things are definitely picking up. And that's all I got. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I don't think there's any questions. Thank you very much for your report.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, next up is, we'll just say Public Works and Engineering, and Vicki Meredith is going to give us an update.
You know, I'm bummed this is not working. I am a puncher of buttons. But anyway, let's see what we can do. I'll keep you busy. Good afternoon, Judge and members of Fiscal Court. It's been a while since I've been up here, and I appreciate the opportunity today.
Could you pull that microphone toward you? Yes, thank you.
Today I'm wearing multiple hats, but not nearly as well as Vincent does with his hat. So I'm more, it's not nearly as good as him. But today I'm going to go through engineering, solid waste, and code enforcement updates. I'm stepping in today because Stephanie is out on medical leave and she's not available. And as you know, for the engineering portion, I am the interim county engineer, but that is soon to be filled within the next few weeks by a candidate that we are bringing in. And I think you're going to be thrilled, but I'll wait till he's on board till we bring him in to introduce him and give you everyone his background. But with regard to code enforcement, in January and February, Wally's been busy as usual. There were 5 cases received, 2 cases closed, and 3 outstanding cases in January, as well as 5 cases received, 6 cases closed, and 29 outstanding in February. So it's been a busy month. This is the time of year that obviously there's no foliage out there, so everything's to be seen. So it'll kind of transition some as we go into the summer, but that's when people are outside, so they also see things. So there's never really a true downtime for him. Moving on to the shredding events. This is a free shredding event that we offer monthly to the residents. And so year to date, we've had 125 vehicles come in and 134 bags. So these are any of your personal items that you want to have brought in, feel safe and secure, that make sure it's well shredded. With regard to the recycling totals, we have the January information here. There were 32 January trailer runs in January and then 28 trailer runs in February. As for the tonnage that's shown here, it's 24.9 tons of recycled material were picked up in January, and we're still waiting for the February numbers. With regard to the landfill, it'll be open. We have a couple of open Saturdays coming up, January the 9th and the 13th, and then we've got a free dump day coming up also. But do remember, as you're taking your loads to the landfill, to make sure it's secured and tarped. Anyone that drives along Bluegrass Parkway and/or the road into the landfill can see where obviously many of them have not been. And that's an easy thing to do, and it makes a huge difference. So we're imploring for you to do that, and we'd rather not have to get into enforcement, but we do try to enforce that at the gate. And if you got any questions, there's a phone number, 270-506-1062. The deceased farm animal removal, this is a program that's been in place since 2004. So we've been trying to work with the farmers and people here in Hardin County to have a secure and efficient way to get rid of the deceased farm animals, and as I'm going to be talking later, making sure it's not polluting our waterways. So there's a series of different kind of animals that are picked up. As you will see, for January and February, we've had a total of 40 animals that have been properly disposed of. So if you are a farmer or a resident that would like this service, there's a phone number that can be found on our website, and you're welcome to call and make sure that happens. As for upcoming events, the shredding event I was talking about earlier, you can look on our webpage. You're going to see this flyer that's on there, so it's going to give you every opportunity once a month for the shredding events that are coming up. They're in Hardin County Road Department at 501 Bacon Creek, and then the next one is April the 1st from 1 to 2. So I'm going to now switch over to the engineering portion. I'm sorry, I don't have it set up this way. Do you have any questions about this part? Be happy to entertain any questions.
Vicki, one question. I've had, I don't know, 3 or 4 calls about deer. Mm-hmm. Will they pick up deer? And if it's in the yard or in the driveway?
If it's on the road right away, you can probably get it picked up. I'm not sure about the yard. So let's talk about that afterwards and see what we can do. I don't think it's in the contract for this hauling people to pick it up, but if it's along the roadway, then a lot of times the road department or different places, they'll come and at least put lime on it. So it's a hard season to figure out how to
Well, I don't think the roadway is, the side of the road is too bad, but a lot of these deer are winding up in people's driveways and in their front yards. So, and Josh has been great about taking care of that. I call him and he goes and gets it, but I didn't know if this company was supposed to do that or not.
The original contract was for farm animals, so because we really wanted to address those.
Well,
so I don't know that this is.
some of these people might be using these deer for farm animals.
I will look in detail at that contract to find out, but I can't answer that because I don't want to answer it improperly. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So with regard to engineering, let's move on to the first slide. See, go ahead. I combined the two. We didn't talk about this. So go forward until you get to engineering. And while you're doing this, I just want to point out that what I'm going to be talking about today is our MS4 permit. It's the Municipal Separate Stormwater System Permit. And some of you may be familiar with it. Many of you are not. This is something that's integral to the engineering department. We are responsible for working on the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit for the discharge of urban stormwater into streams, rivers, and lakes. So we actually walk hand in hand with the Conservation District. If you read through what they have just put in here with regard to water quality and land use, theirs are more rural, ours are more urban. So anytime there's a development, that's really where we have the teeth to walk into it. But we do walk hand in hand and try to enforce anything that we can. But so this actually provides legal regulations to protect water bodies and keep pollutants out. And so this permit actually originates in Washington, D.C. EPA comes down to the Kentucky Division of Water, and then it issues the MS4 permit requirements to each jurisdiction, and there's about 43 of them across the state of Kentucky. What this does for Hardin County is it allowed us to establish ordinances for numerous activities that have a tendency to be pollutant, can be pollutant oriented. So erosion prevention and sediment control, that's basically during construction, the silt fence and all that kind of stuff you see. Post-construction runoff control, that would be the stormwater management ponds and making sure they're in place and working so the downstream property owners are protected from that additional runoff. Post-construction runoff maintenance, controlled maintenance, that is now pushing back to the actual property owners, that the developer that built that subdivision, and they have to maintain it, report to us on an annual basis and get that information to us. And the control of illicit discharge, that would be where the use of spilling or dumping oils and greases and anything that may be along those lines. This permit, the MS4 permit, has 6 minimum control measures. So these are actual activities that are included in this permit. So when I came on board in 2006, I said, this is the most comprehensive permit I've ever seen. But actually it works very well because it addresses all different elements of activities that need to be worked on to make sure that erosion and sediment control and controlling the stormwater is done effectively. First one is public education. So that's why I'm here today. That's really why I'm talking to you. This is a great avenue, and we can put it as a check in our permit compliance, but this is a great avenue to reach out to the homeowners and the people of Hardin County to help them understand what we're doing and why we do it. Public involvement, trying to get them to be part of it. The third one is construction site runoff. There's also illicit discharge detection, post-construction runoff, and good housekeeping. I haven't mentioned that, but that actually oversees any municipal locations such as the road department's area. Are they making sure that their oils and greases and everything are properly stored and taken care of? So as Fred well knows, as he's heard me say many times, this is our tagline that we put along with that. And Jenny's smiling too because she's heard this, as has EG. If it's on the ground, it's in your water. Clean storm water is everyone's responsibility. And that's really what we're trying to do with this. So moving on, there are all different kinds of potential contaminants that are out there coming from construction sites, septic systems, lawn care, household hazardous chemicals, car care, pet and animal waste. But today I'm going to focus in on septic systems 101. As we're developing here in Hardin County, subdivisions, anything that's outside in unincorporated Hardin County, outside the city limits of E-Town, Radcliffe, and other municipalities, they're on a septic system. So that means that each property has a septic tank. And as you can see, as we continue forward, it's getting more dense. This is about as dense as we can get on septic systems. What we do as we're looking at development is to make sure that not only is there, work with the health department, make sure there's not only a place for that septic system to be constructed, but if it fails, there's a repair area. This is for the longevity and for perpetuity for your property, for your home. So if you do things that the system fails, you could very well have to be on a pumping system for a year while you get a new system put in if you don't have that or if you've created a problem. So it gets complicated. So my presentation today is going to work with you on things that you can do as a property owner to look at this. This gives you a good idea of how many septic tanks there are in Hardin County. It basically, every address point in Hardin County that's outside any of the incorporated areas has a septic system, somewhere around 18,000. Potential for contamination, yes. Well maintained, no. So that's what we want to work on. Essentially, a septic system is really straightforward. It's all the waste comes from the house, it goes into a septic tank and discharges into a drain field. And that soil then is able to work through this. We'll talk a little more in detail. Within that tank, you have the effluent comes in, the solids float to or go to the bottom, the wastewater comes to the top, and then it goes out into the drain field. The drain field, so the issue with this is to keep all the solids in the tank. Only the water goes out into the drain field, and then that, through a bed system, actually discharges and is absorbed into the ground. In the tank, there's anaerobic digestion. That means there's no air there. It is a system that was actually first developed in the mid-1800s and has been very popular here in the United States since the 1930s. So it's a good system. But let's keep in mind some of the things. Remember that your septic system contains a living collection of organisms that digest and treat waste. So we have to look at ways to make sure that this stays healthy. So indoors, we want to try to use water efficiently. Typical usage is 80 gallons per day per person. You want to replace fixtures with water savers and washing machines. Too much water into it keeps the solids at the bottom worked up, and then they end up going into the septic lateral field. So you want to make sure that you're not over flooding the tank. So you want to check for leaky faucets and toilets, and you don't dispose of household hazardous waste in sinks or toilets. Too much water, as I'm showing here, water comes in, it goes in too fast, it doesn't give it the time to digest and to settle out, and so you'll end up with solids in the pipes, and if you got solids in the pipes, it'll clog it all up. Okay. Avoid garbage disposals. One of the things that the septic system does is really deal well in the anaerobic digestion is from waste material. Garbage like this hasn't gone through the body. It is too solid to digest well in the systems. So they really don't want you to do garbage disposal. It's hard on your septic system. Yes, again, that's what this is showing. It's going into the tank. You end up with solids going into your lateral lines again.
Vicki, can you back up?
Yes.
Maybe I'm a little dense. Avoid garbage disposals. Run that by me one more time.
Garbage disposals, you put an apple in a garbage disposal, chop it all up, it goes into the system. That goes in, and the anaerobic action that's in the bottom of the tank needs to eat all that up. It can, but it takes longer. It's designed to take body waste. So if you've eaten an apple and that gets discharged into the septic system, that's a whole different biology. It's different. And it's like the bugs are ready to eat that. So if you try to put all the other stuff, it just takes much longer and you end up with chunks. So it just doesn't work that well.
Don't ask too many questions, Fred.
Well, I'm just thinking of all the houses in this community that have garbage disposal.
I don't have one.
I've never ever heard it ever expressed to avoid them before, so I'm just.
That's on septic.
That's on septic.
Sewer is on septic.
Right, but yes, it's on septic. That's an issue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's why I'm here, to talk about this and help people
That's why I asked the
understand.
dumb question. Okay.
I'm glad you did, and I'm trying to be very
It's a Gary
sensitive.
King question.
I'm gonna throw my wife under the bus. She wants one, and I told her we couldn't because we're on septic.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
I told her, I said, no,
yeah.
that
This
saved
is
me from having to put one in.
This is a time for, this would be a time for you to step up and compost. And actually have something like that outside, so, but as for, no, you can't. So, thank you for the question, though. And I'm glad you brought attention to it, because you're right. So let's move on. These are what the lateral lines look like. It's actually piping systems that come out that have holes in them. The effluent, yes, it's still got a color to it, comes into these areas. There's enough stone and everything that allows it to go out and infiltrate. The health department has already looked at these areas and said, yes, it has enough infiltration rate that it will be appropriate based on the standard designs, that it will basically provide nutrients to the ground but not go out and cause pollution. So, again, toilets are not trash cans. So things that are cloggers that you might do in the cities, and even then you shouldn't be doing it. Diapers, kitty litter, grease, dental floss, paper towels, coffee grains, feminine project, cotton swabs, cigarette butts. Your system cannot take care of that. And even if you send it to a municipal system, it has a hard time chugging all that out. It has to basically pull it out. It can't digest that either. So the toilets are not trash cans. Killers that will go in there. Again, we're back to the anaerobic activities that go there. killers are the household chemicals, your gasoline, your oils, your pesticides, your antifreeze, paint. Don't be throwing any of that down. Household killers, chemicals also can be a problem. So just kind of be mindful of how much bleach you use. The anaerobic little bugs in there are not bleach happy. Another thing that I see a lot of around here that perhaps people are not aware of, outside, over top of the lateral lines, you plant only grass near your septic system. Roots from trees and shrubs might clog and damage the system. The other thing is that you don't drive or park over top of that, because all you're doing is compressing that down. You're either compressing the area that's supposed to infiltrate, or you're crushing the pipes that are there. So people really need to know, where are your septics, your lateral lines, and you can usually see them in the summer. That's where the greenest grass is on your lawn. And you want to reserve that space for repair area. Planning deals with this a lot. People come in and say, I want to put a pool in, I want to put a garage in, I want to do all these things. If the lot's not big enough to do all those and keep the repair area, we can't allow it. You have to keep that repair area. It's for the economic development of that lot and for future, for that house and that lot to be there in perpetuity. So, moving forward, stop, look, and smell. You're going to know it when it starts to fail. And it could be from household toxics, household cleaners, hot tubs, washing machines, too much of that. The washing machine issue is the one I have a problem with. I like to do all my washing on the weekend. So I'm dumping too much water through the system at one time. A better way to do that would be do it on a daily basis. I'm still having a hard time teaching myself to do that, but anyway. Water purification system, garbage disposals, or improper design or installation. If you think you have a problem, call the health department. They'll come out and do a courtesy review and help you understand what's going on, and hopefully can help you fix it before it gets too bad. Maintenance, this is something else. My dad was born and raised on a farm. He didn't inspect his septic system, but of course he was very controlling as to what went into it. But here, modern days, you really do need to inspect it. Depending on how many people you have in your house, you need to inspect your tank every 1 to 3 years, and look at your and pump the tank out every 3 to 5 years, because it's going to save you money and protects the health and environment of your area. So it's worth it. If it fails, your whole household falls apart, and it's expensive. This is just to show you what might happen, this is a buildup from lack of pumping. You can see how crusty that has gotten in there, and I don't even know what's inside. Failed drain fill causing backup into the house. Yeah, you'll try to flush and it won't go anywhere because that's holding it back. Too much toilet paper, that's another thing, causing a backup into the house. So there's many actions that can cause a problem. Talked about having trees and shrubs near it. Those plants love the water, and they love the nutrient-laden water, so they'll do everything they can to try to get inside. So this is something you see quite often. And again, so if it's on the ground, it's in your water. Clean stormwater is everyone's responsibility. So I know that was probably TMI, but I think it's good for everybody. So I hope that you can take home some new information. And Fred, I'm really impressed that after all these years, I actually have given you something that you're hadn't been aware of. So this is all good. So anybody else have any questions?
I just want to say that I unfortunately looked over at my wife a couple times, and she was giving me the eye on a few of those things. So I've got some work to do too.
Okay then. Good to know.
All right, thank you, Vicki. All right, I know that's hard to come after that presentation, but I think Dwight Morgan, our road supervisor, is up to the task.
Vicki, I just got one thing to say. It really stunk. All right. This is your road department report for January and February. Encroachment permits, as you can see, they were up dollar amounts down. I can tell you that that's probably due to existing driveways, new driveways. It costs you a little more money to put in. Road signs, we were down on replacement of road signs, repaired. We were down on those. The other, I can tell you that he's been real busy. We have been busy putting out our traffic counters to get our average daily traffic counts so we can get those put in our road listing. And with that, Charlie has come up with kind of a formula where with all those numbers, it comes out with a final score. So we're getting a lot closer on getting a lot of those completed. We've been working on those for months, so we'll continue to work on those. Daily activities, as you can see, tree trimming has been one of our major daily activities, along with our mow trim. We've been out with that every day. We normally can go even in some not so pleasant weather with that piece of equipment. So on the tree trimming, wind gets up, we don't let the guys go out and work out of the bucket truck when the wind gets up. So so if you will look at this is our last snow event. That bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a map there. That's actually a photo from one of the places that we get our information from, YouTube, believe it or not. I follow several different people. Of course, I use National Weather Service, but I also use some weather forecasters on YouTube. This happens to be Ryan Y'all, you know, so he's quite a character. But we do use a lot. These two events that we had were more like nuisance events, is what I'm going to call them, because we didn't have hardly enough to do anything with. We didn't have enough to plow off the road. If you look at the top left-hand corner, that's the residual salt left from a previous snow event. And you can see where it's melted there at the intersection of Lee School Road and Hogan Road. I just happen to know the owner there on the right. He's not a real nice fellow, but anyway, if you look over at the other picture there, you can see our crews getting loaded out and heading out the next day. So that's kind of what we've had so far, and hopefully that's all we're going to have. So this next picture, this is your new bucket truck. If you look at that right-hand picture, that truck actually, the bucket will get up close to 70 feet off the ground. So we are on Stovall Road. We've been doing quite a bit of work on Stovall Road. And as you look there on the left, you can see you've got kind of like a nice hedgerow going down through there. You don't have any limbs hanging over. So with really the last, I was really amazed with the last wind event that we had. We had some very strong wind for a period of time. And, you know, we did not have one call on down trees. Now, I will tell you, the fire departments have been real good about helping us out, the volunteer fire departments. I'm going to say that's probably some of the reason. But I think a lot of the reason also is what you see in that left-hand picture, just getting your maintenance done and being able to do that. That's real important. Any questions? All right.
Dwight?
Yes.
Last week we attended a conference, and Bobby Joe with the Department of Transportation announced that they were redistributing some of the funding to counties, taking it from the county and putting it into the state budget for county roads, but they were state roads. So is that Correct.
That is correct. So you're looking at about a 15% reduction for Hardin County. They like to make you feel good. Hey, we're not taking it from your county, but you're taking it from county road budget. So when we're really struggling for funding, everybody wants the roads repaved. So it's much better. I'll just tell you, with the ARPA money that we got, you guys are not experiencing the calls that previous court was having to contend with, and what we were having to contend with. But we need every dollar we can get. And I'm going to say this, not only our roads, but our bridges. We've got 37 bridges in the county. I think I told you, Fred, about 12 or 14 was in that yellow. I think it's 17. So it's about 12 to 14 million dollars, or that's what it was, to repair those. So, we could have some major issues that come up, and we may have to close some roads because our bridges aren't at the weight limits they need to be for traffic, especially buses. Big concern.
Well, a good example of that's what's going on in Louisville right now with the Clark Memorial Bridge. They suddenly discovered a flaw or a problem, and now it's shut down indefinitely. So
there you go.
I think what that's doing to that.
Yeah, and Eastern Kentucky got hit with all that flooding back, was it last spring or spring before, and they had so many bridges that were taken out. I hope that never is the case here, but we are, I'm telling you, it's not pretty. You look, and we just got done with the budget, but we've got more work we need to be doing than what we can get done, because we've got bridges. You've got, again, 12 to 14 million dollars worth of bridges that needs repair right now. That's not counting the roads.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Fred.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Did that amount to about, did I read that right, about $100,000 less, that 15% that you were talking about? Do you remember? It was a significant amount of money.
Well, I think it's more $50,000, Judge.
$50,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look, our for the past several years, we've been right at about $340,000 for flex funds. So
it'll be about 50,000. Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Anything else?
All right.
Thank you all.
Appreciate all you do. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Written reports are available to you, as you can see on the agenda. Now comes a time of citizens' concerns and comments. Do we have anybody that wants to come up and have 3 minutes? Yes, please. I'm sorry. Okay. We'll start.
I'll be quick.
Okay. If you just state your name and where you live.
Robert Lawson-Barger, Radcliffe. If I could speak to the agenda item number 4. I just wanted to thank the court, Judge Tall, thank you. A thank you to Mr. County Clerk Brian Smith for helping us so much with our election at J.T. Alton. And for Secretary of State Adams showing up. I want to thank Principal Cassidy for encouraging us to do this. This is her second year in the middle school, and she's doing transformative work there. And of course, as you all know, Richard Rowland gives the credit everywhere except to himself, which I'm glad to see his recognition. So thank you all for that. I am not a Hardin County native. I am a transplant. Originally living in Louisville, but I can tell you there is nowhere else that I'd rather live than Hardin County. We love it here. My wife and I, we've started a family here. And the civic duty that I sense from our citizens runs deep. And I hope that we continue that excellence. That is all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for hearing me.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate those comments very much. Means a lot. Okay, next.
Charlie Riggs. I live at 3352 Hodgeville Road, which faces the main highway, but technically it is a subdivision. My wife and I have lived there since March of 1978. Tried to make improvements on the home to make it increase the value, inside, outside. Last year, my next door neighbor come up with the idea she wanted to put a horse in her backyard. I've talked to different people in this room to see what my options were to get this stopped. As of today, there are no options. A person living in the county, no matter what the lot size is allowed to put a horse, a cow. I don't know about anything else, but I know they could put either one of those in the yard. Now, the time that my wife and I used to spend sitting on our deck in the back, and Mr. Thompson's been to my house, he's seen what the issue is. We have the smell of the waste from the horse. We have the smell of the horse. And I'm sure that it has knocked a lot off of my property resale value. I would love to see something changed. I can't stop what's happened already. Everybody's already told me I can't do anything about getting rid of the horse that's next door. I would love to see something changed to where this doesn't happen to anybody else. Because it's affected my wife and I's relationship with our neighbor. We've always got along with everybody. We live in a pretty close-knit area. So if there was anything that you guys can do, I have pictures that I will leave with Mr. Thompson that he can show the rest of you all. Anytime you guys want to come to 3352 Hodgeville Road to see what I'm dealing with, you're more than welcome to come. If I'm not there, sit down on a deck and visit a while. But it's left a bad taste in my mouth that there was no options to stop this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Is there anyone else that would like to come up? All right, then we'll move on. The next section, first item of business then is the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 332-3, series 2023, relating to fiscal year 2023-24 budget amendment number 3. This was explained in some detail about a month ago at the first reading. So I'm not going to bore everybody with another discussion about that unless somebody else wants to talk about it. But first of all, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion, second. Any discussion about this? Hearing none, we're going to have a roll call.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, as I mentioned before, we're going to make a change here on the fly with the consent agenda, and we're going to look at the approval of resolution 2024-048 related to Civic Plus statement of work for website refresh with hosting. And this is at a cost of right at $30,000, which, by the way, was budgeted for that amount. So the reason we're pulling it out to vote for it separately is there was some concern about the actual contract with Civic Plus. And I believe there were some concerns that were sent to our IT director, Aaron Miller, and so he's reviewed those, and he's actually in the process of sending some of these major, or the biggest concerns, I guess, to Civic Plus to see if they are willing to make changes to that contract, which I believe they will address some of those for us. But I guess what I want to do is go ahead and make an amendment to the, if you will, the resolution itself, number 48. It starts out, it says, be it resolved upon recommendation of Judge Executive Keith Tall to approve the Civic Plus Statement of Work for website refresh with 1 year of hosting at a cost of $29,924.49. And then the second part of this is what I would like to amend and change a little bit and say, be it further resolved to authorize Judge Executive and then add and county attorney to negotiate and execute all documents related to the above statement of work. So the only change really is to add and county attorney, just to make sure that we've addressed the concerns with the contract itself. And so with that one change to the resolution, I would like to see if there's if we could go ahead and proceed with approval of this.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2024-048 related to Civic Plus per your amendment.
Okay, a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Judge, the only discussion I have is I'm still, we had committee, we talked about it. We talked about a video. We decided we wanted to go with a local company to do something like that. And I don't see why we didn't check out with any local companies to do the bid on the website refresh.
Okay. Any other comments?
We don't currently have a contract for the website then in place.
That's true.
But we have had services for the website in the past.
Right.
Have we kept those paid?
Yes.
And current?
They are current.
I hope so.
Any other comment? Okay, hearing none. Have a roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
No.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
No.
Squire Thompson?
No.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes.
6-3.
6-3. Okay, so motion passes. All right, so let's go ahead and proceed through the consent agenda. The agenda items include item A and H, which are basically our claims, paying our bills in A, and then Resolution 52, which is related to a lot of the typical budget transfers. Item B is, and let's see, item B, C, E, and F are all regarding personnel issues. Let's see, if I was going to note here that item E, Resolution 49, is related to the engineering department personnel. So this is where we're hiring a new engineer that Vicki Meredith discussed, and so we're very excited about this person. And I think everything goes according to plan. He'll be joining us by the end of the month. So that was one of the personnel changes. Let's see. And then we move on down to approval of Resolution 50. This is related to the jail video arraignment equipment, Phase 2 grant. We're talking to Josh, our jailer. He said that this money was already spent, so this will be basically applied for the $44,000 for reimbursement. So that we'll take care of that. And then there's the item 53. This is related to the interlocal agreement with the city of Elizabethtown. We've already seen this once and passed it, but again, this is the interlocal agreement regarding enforcement of the Hardin County Ordinance 339, recovery residence certification by utilizing E-Town's compliance officer and city code enforcement board, starting July 1st, 2024 for 1 year with auto renewal unless either party wants to terminate the agreement. E-Town has already signed it. This was an updated version, and so we will basically be with the update that had to be added to it. E-Town's already signed it, so today we're just adopting it, improving it so that we can move on with it. And then finally, Resolution 54. This is related to adopting goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan. Again, this is this adopts the 9 goals and related objectives that our Planning Commission has been working very hard for a year by receiving public and community input into updating the comprehensive plan. I'll just see, I think I had all my notes here. Let's see if I have that where I can find it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I just wanted to read to you, just to give, for those of you that maybe haven't been involved too much with the comprehensive plan, but to give you an idea of the extent that our Planning Commission reached out to the community. I'll just read you one of the whereases in the resolution that the commission passed. And it says that whereas the Planning Commission, its staff, and Taylor Seifker Williams Design Group have conducted considerable research with a multifaceted public engagement process, which included public workshops and open houses throughout the county, including Elizabethtown, Cecilia, Ronnieville, Glendale, and Radcliffe, an online survey, a comprehensive plan-specific website, steering committee meetings, focus group meetings, and a formal public hearing to gain input from the citizens of the community. So I had never seen anything quite like it. There was a huge, effort to get out into the community and get everybody's input to make this thing come together. And so I just wanted to say thanks to Adam King. Looks like he stepped out, but to his whole team, I know how much. I don't know specifically how much, but I know about how much time they've put into this, and it's been extensive. So that is also part of the consent agenda. And then, of course, we have our one of the committee meeting minutes, the emergency service meeting minutes from February 15th is in there also. So given all that, I guess we're ready to see if there is a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved in second. Any discussion?
Judge, I just wanted to point out one thing. On item number -053 with the interlocal agreement with the city, I just wanted to show appreciation to the city, and Mayor Gregory and City Council and everybody. I mean, it does take a team effort to make the entire county be a better place. So just want to make sure that they knew that we appreciate them and all their efforts as well.
Appreciate those comments. I run into Mayor Gregory fairly frequently, and I've probably said that to him more than I probably should have, because I am very appreciative of them working with us. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and have a roll call.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the comment part of the agenda. And our county attorney, do you have any comments?
I don't, thank you.
All right, thank you. County clerk, do you have any further comment?
No, sir.
All right. How about Magistrate Yates?
Just want to remind everyone, our Emergency Service Committee meeting will be Thursday, March 21st at 3:30.
Okay, thank you. Magistrate Saltzman.
I have nothing, thank you.
Magistrate Whitehead.
Yes, just want to remind the folks that the Resources and Community Support Committee meeting is March 18th, Monday, across the hall. Thank you, 3:30.
All right. Magistrate Clem.
Yes, Judge, remind folks that Finance Committee meeting will be March the 19th, 3:30 across the hall. Also remind folks, please don't drink and drive, no text and drive.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Pennington.
No comment.
Magistrate Thompson.
Again, an encouragement to have all of you drive the speed limit and be very careful in your driving and careful with disposal of trash. There's trash along the roadsides and we need to be better citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Magistrate Hicks.
Just to encourage everybody, if you haven't already bought your tickets for the Lincoln Dinner this Saturday, I would, there's going to be senators and state representatives there speaking. So if you want to find out what's going on and what they're thinking about, I would encourage you to come to the Lincoln Dinner. It's going to be out at the college. I think it starts around 5 o'clock. The dinner is at 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Muse.
Just remind everybody that Fish Fry is still going on in St. Bridget during Lent on Fridays. And the next Public Works meeting is the 20th of March at 3:30 next Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. My reminder is typically a reminder of next fiscal court meeting, March 26th at 5:30 p.m. Okay, I think that about wraps it up for the day. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yes. Okay. Come on up here.
Very popular event in the county. Our tree seedling giveaway will be on April the 6th at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I highly suggest everybody get there early that wants some. We will have many flowering, nut-bearing, fruit-bearing, and different types of boundary fences, things like that, that could be very beneficial for many people in the county. And do not plant them near your septic tanks.
That's correct, yeah. Where was that at again? I'm sorry.
It will be held at the farmer's market.
Be early.
Farmer's market.
Or else
okay.
Be left out.
Be early, exactly, because last year we ran out in 45 minutes.
Okay, good to know.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, meeting to adjourn, that's right. So we've got all that. Second, any objections? All right, meeting is adjourned.